Hello and welcome. You're watching the news. I'm Nitish and these are the big headlines tonight. The Supreme Court will hear a plea to review its controversial money laundering judgment that gave the Enforcement Directorate extraordinary powers. The Chief Justice's court has listed the plea for hearing tomorrow. The AAP versus BJP battle gets uglier. Now the Aam Aadmi Party claims that MLAs are being offered 25 crores by the BJP to break the party in Delhi. The BJP demands proof. Arvind Kejriwal calls a meeting of all MLAs tomorrow morning. In Bihar, Nitish Kumar wins the Bihar Assembly vote comfortably, but just hours before that, the CBI raids top aides of Lalu Prasad Yadav. In the Congress's leadership saga, Ashok Gehlot emerges as the front runner for the Congress's top job, but still says he's trying to convince Rahul Gandhi to take it. Meanwhile, Rahul, Priyanka and Sonia Gandhi are out of the country as the Congress president goes for a medical checkup. A scuffle breaks out between National Congress NCP and Rebel Shiv Sena camp MLA outside the State Assembly in Mumbai as they raise slogans against each other, claiming corruption. And the Supreme Court is constituting a new bench to hear the freebies case, saying that we have to see what is a freebie and what is welfare. Well, the big story tonight, the Supreme Court has admitted a plea which seeks a review of the Supreme Court's own recent controversial PMLA judgment, that's the Prevention of Money Laundering Act judgment, which essentially gives the Enforcement Directorate extraordinary powers of arrest and also makes it very difficult for those arrested to get bail. The Chief Justice of India has listed this plea for open hearing in his court tomorrow. My colleague Arvind Gunasekar now joining us for more on this big story. Now, Arvind, there's been a lot of criticism of the Supreme Court's judgment that came just now in July. What more can you tell us about the importance of the Chief Justice admitting this?
Yeah, Nidhi, in a massive development, the Supreme Court has admitted this review plea by Karti Chidambaram. Karti Chidambaram, one of the accused in the money laundering probe, had moved Supreme Court seeking review of this PMLA judgment that was given by three-judge bench led by then Justice Kanvilkar in July this year. So Karti Chidambaram in his petition had said that this particular judgment by three-judge bench has gone against several judgments by several larger bench of the Supreme Court, and that's why he sought for a review of this PMLA judgment by the three-judge bench. So today the review plea was taken up for consideration by a three-judge bench consisting of Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana in his chambers. Because it's a review petition, it was not taken up for hearing in an open court. So it's a review petition that was considered in their chambers, and then they thought that it's a matter that befits it's a matter that needs to be heard in the open court, and that's why they have put this matter for hearing in the open court tomorrow. So tomorrow, three-judge bench led by Chief Justice of India will be hearing this petition by Karti Chidambaram seeking review of this PMLA judgment, wherein he has also sought for stay of the operation of this particular judgment. So tomorrow is a very important day wherein the three-judge bench will consider the stay application of Karti Chidambaram, and if at all the Supreme Court agrees to stay the operation of the judgment, in all likelihood this particular matter will be heard by a separate bench along with one more petition that is pending before a constitution bench that relates to Roger Matthew case, wherein a petition has been challenged regarding the amendments to the PMLA Act through the finance bill.
Right. I was going to ask you that, Arvind, because the Chief Justice actually, it's his last day at work on Friday. So if this does get admitted, then, A, the importance would be if it's actually stayed, and B, this could go to a new bench to hear.
Yeah, Nidhi, that seems to be the possibility tomorrow, because there are only 2 days left for Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana, and that's why the matter has been listed for tomorrow itself. Today, the matter was admitted, the review plea was admitted, and tomorrow it has been listed for open court hearing. So tomorrow it will be an important day. If at all of the bench decides to hear it further, then it has to be heard by a different bench. But there is one more possibility, like I mentioned, because there is a similar matter relating to PMLA that is pending before a constitution bench that is being heard by Justice Chandrachud. So if at all if the petitioner seeks that this particular matter should also be heard along with that constitution bench matter, so in all likelihood this matter will be referred to the larger bench that is hearing the larger question regarding the PMLA Act.
All right, Arvind, thanks very much. Let's see what happens in the Supreme Court tomorrow. Meanwhile, the big political story today is the escalating war of words between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. Today, the AAP took it a step further by claiming that their MLAs are being offered 25 crores each by the BJP in order to break away from the party in Delhi. The BJP has hit back, demanding proof of this. Meanwhile, Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has called a meeting of his MLAs tomorrow morning.
प्रजातंत्र में ऐसी नीचता मैंने पहले कभी नहीं देखी.
Join the BJP or face CBI heat. This was the bombshell claim by 4 AAP MLAs, where they alleged that the BJP threatened them to join the party. This comes days after Manish Sisodia claimed he was offered the Chief Minister's post by the BJP.
धमकी भरे शब्दों में कहते हैं 20 करोड़ का ऑफर है, ले लो, वरना जैसे मनीष सिसोदिया पे सीबीआई छोड़ दी, ऐसे ही तुम्हारे ऊपर फर्जी मुकदमे लगा दिए जाएंगे.
पिछले 1-2 दिन में मेरी भी नजर में आया, कुछ विधायकों ने मुझसे संपर्क किया है कि उनको सीबीआई और ईडी की धमकी देके डराया जा रहा है, उनको पैसे का लालच देके कहा जा रहा है कि आम आदमी पार्टी छोड़ दो, आम आदमी पार्टी तोड़ दो.
However, the AAP MLAs ducked specific questions on proof of their claims, and the BJP demanded evidence.
You have no escape path. आप बच नहीं सकते.
जब मैंने अपने हथियार उनके सामने नहीं डाले, तो कहते हैं कि देख लो, फिर भाजपा के नेता क्या करते हैं आपके साथ.
ट्रेलर पे ट्रेलर, फिल्म नहीं आ रही, ट्रेलर पे ट्रेलर आ रहे हैं. जब ब्रह्मास्त्र की जरूरत होगी तो ब्रह्मास्त्र चलेगा जरूर, ये मेरा वादा है आप लोगों से.
Meanwhile, top AAP leaders met in Delhi to discuss the BJP's alleged attempt to topple the Delhi government.
The tussle between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP has intensified in the national capital ahead of the Himachal and Gujarat polls. After AAP MLA's explosive claims as CM Kejriwal has summoned all MLAs at 11 a.m. tomorrow, while the BJP continues to rubbish these claims, calling it AAP's tactics to escape corruption charges. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
Meanwhile, Bihar's new Maharashtra of Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav won a confidence vote for their 2.0 government quite comfortably today. But the assembly proceedings were overshadowed by CBI raids just before that on top aides of Lalu Prasad Yadav. This is an alleged land for railway job scam in which the RJD chief Lalu Yadav is the main accused. The RJD has called the raids vendetta and claimed this BJP was scared of losing in 2024.
The CBI at the homes of top Lalu Yadav aides asked before the Nitish Kumar Tejasvi Yadav confidence vote. This time, the allegation that land was transferred to Lalu Yadav in exchange for railway jobs. Among those raided, Sunil Singh, a member of Bihar's Legislative Council and a close aide of Lalu Yadav and his family. The raids resonated in the Bihar Assembly during the trust vote.
बीजेपी हारती है या बीजेपी जिससे जिससे डरती है, वहां ये अपने 3 जमाई आगे कर देते हैं. पहला जमाई सीबीआई, दूसरा जमाई ईडी, तीसरा जमाई इनकम टैक्स.
The chief minister targeted the RSS and rebutted the BJP's allegations that he broke the alliance over his prime ministerial ambitions.
अब तरह-तरह का नाम दे रहे. आजादी से क्या मतलब था? 75वां साल में कह रहे थे कि ये होगा. अरे भाई, आजादी की लड़ाई में कहां थे?
The vote itself was a formality, given Nitish and Tejasvi's comfortable numbers. The BJP walked out during Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's speech.
स्थितियां बनी है, पूरा बिहार आज अराजकता के मुंह में धकेला जा चुका है महोदय.
The assembly session started with Speaker Vijay Kumar Sinha, a BJP MLA, stepping down from his post. A no-confidence motion was moved against him soon after the Grand Alliance came to power. Mr. Sinha had earlier refused to resign, citing unfounded allegations by the RJD-JDU against him. With Habib Ali and Manish Kumar, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate has said it seized 2 AK-47s from a house in Ranchi, allegedly linked to Prem Prakash and aid of Chief Minister Hemant Soren. These were part of raids that are in an ongoing probe into a mining scam, which they say is pegged at 100 crores. Neither Mr. Prakash nor Mr. Soren have reacted to this so far. It wasn't immediately clear also if these guns are illegal, but the central agency has taken them into their possession. Now, the Congress has announced today that it's going to decide a date for the election to the Congress president's post this Sunday. But Rajasthan's Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has emerged as the front runner for the top job, since Rahul Gandhi is clearly reluctant to take it. Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, meanwhile, are out of the country. Sonia Gandhi is undergoing a medical checkup, but the Congress says Rahul Gandhi will be back to address a big rally on price rise on the 4th of September.
The three Gandhis have left India for Sonia Gandhi's treatment, possibly triggering still further delays in the party's presidential polls. Ashok Gehlot, who's being seen as a front-runner in case any of the Gandhis decide not to contest, today told NDTV he doesn't want to remain Rajasthan Chief Minister, but would like to see Rahul Gandhi become party president.
आप एक उम्मीदवार है इसमें सब ये पद में? मैं कोई उम्मीदवार नहीं बनता हूँ कभी भी. मुझे हाईकमान जो कहता हूँ मैं करता हूँ. मैं जाके आया गुजरात के अंदर, वो हमारे इसलिए मैं जाके मिला उनसे.
The Congress meanwhile lost another face, spokesperson Jaivir Sheghal, who quit the party.
It is purely being influenced by a cabal, by a coterie who merely indulge in sycophancy and who serve their self-interest.
Although he held no senior post, Sheghal's exit comes just after top leaders like Ghulam Nabi Azad and Anand Sharma stepping down from the roles assigned to them by the party bosses. With camera person Pooja Arya, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
Well, ugly scenes at the Maharashtra Assembly today, where a scuffle broke out between NCP and Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena MLAs right outside the Assembly. In fact, in Mumbai, both sides were raising slogans against each other on corruption.
कुछ भी हुआ है, ये तो एक ट्रेलर था, पिक्चर अभी बाकी है. समझ में आया क्या? हम लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं? हम लोग जब घोषणाबाजी दे रहे थे उन लोग आना नहीं चाहिए था. हम लोग चाहने के बाद वो आना चाहिए था. वो लोग कल परसों जो कुछ कर रहे थे, हम लोग कोई आया इसमें से एक ही दोनों पार्टी का, तो क्यों आया? तो इसको कोई ठेस लग गई. तब क्या हमको क्या करेगा वो लोग? हम लोग ने उनको धक्का मुक्की कर दिया.
Meanwhile, huge controversy in Hyderabad, where BJP MLA T. Raja, who was suspended from the party for hate speech just yesterday, was welcomed back with garlands at the BJP office shortly after he got bail in that same hate speech case. He was granted bail hours after being arrested for derogatory remarks against the Prophet. There have been protests in Hyderabad against Raja, calling for his suspension from the assembly. Protesters showing black flags to the police while protesting against the MLA.
पूरे शहर हैदराबाद के लिए भाजपा का एक विधायक एक अमन के लिए खतरा बन चुका है. जो पिछले 8 साल से हैदराबाद में अमन है, आज उस अमन को वो बिल्कुल कमजोर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. तो इसलिए ये बहुत ही कंडेमनेबल बात है और उनको इस बात की कोई शर्मिंदगी नहीं है.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi and Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann shared a stage today inaugurating a cancer hospital in Mohali in Punjab. It was the Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre in the Mohali district that took place earlier today. And the Prime Minister also inaugurated a 2,600-bed private hospital in Faridabad in Haryana, equipped with cutting-edge technology, including a centralized, fully automated lab. The state-of-the-art hospital has been constructed for the last 6 years and is said to be India's largest hospital. The Supreme Court has decided to constitute a new bench to hear the controversial freebies case, saying today that they have to see what is a freebie and what is welfare. The court said we can't sit and argue if a free cycle or a boat for a rural poor person is a freebie or whether it's welfare, and that they also proposed an all-party meeting by the centre on the issue. The Chief Justice of India will be retiring on Friday, which is why a new bench has been constituted to hear the case. Now, ahead of the demolition of Noida's Supertech Twin Towers this Sunday, there is anxiety among residents of the apartments that are located near the demolition site. They'll have to vacate their homes on the day of the demolition, and the demolition itself is going to take just 9 seconds in a controlled blast, but the residents will be kept out of their homes for 9 hours.
Multi-story high, the infamous Twin Towers in Noida's Sector 93A, taller than Delhi's Qutub Minar. But in another 4 days, these will come down because they have been deemed unsafe. 7,000 residents who live barely 10 meters away in Supertech Emerald will have to vacate their homes by 7 a.m. on the 28th of August and stay out till 4 p.m. 52-year-old Rajendra Raj Singh is making arrangements to protect his belongings from flying debris. He and his wife are also shifting things out of the flat.
हमारे जो वॉल हैंगिंग्स हैं, जो टेलीविजन है, उसको उतार लिया हमने दोबारा से, एयर कंडीशनर कवर कर दिया है हमने, और जो भी शीशे सीलिंग करनी है, हमको डस्ट आने की वजह से जो सीलिंग करनी है, सीलिंग करने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं हम लोग. पेपर पे दिखाया जा रहा है, वो तो सब अच्छा दिखाया जा रहा है. वापस आके देखेंगे कि एग्जैक्टली क्या निकल के आता है उसमें से और कितनी टूट फूट होती है, वो तो बाद में पता लगेगा जाने का. पर ये पक्का है कि बिकॉज ऑफ नॉइज साउंड लेवल इतना बढ़ जाएगा, जो ब्लास्ट होगा उसकी वजह से शीशे तो टूटेंगे.
There is anxiety among most residents. The demolition will be carried out by Edifice Engineering. 3,500 kg of explosives have been placed near the pillars to ensure the rubble and dust doesn't move outwards.
जो waterfall implosion technology जो हम लोग ने पहले भी आपको बताई है, the same technology is going to conduct here. So it is a one floor heat to other floor. So बेसमेंट 1 से चालू होगा फॉल गिरना, ग्राउंड वाला बेसमेंट 1 पे जाएगा, फर्स्ट फ्लोर ग्राउंड पे जाएगा, सेकंड फ्लोर फर्स्ट पे जाएगा. दिस इज कॉल्ड द वाटरफॉल इफेक्ट.
Special arrangements are being done for the demolition day. Noida and the Greater Noida Expressway to remain shut from 2:15 to 2:45 p.m. Areas in 400-meter radius of the Twin Towers to remain sealed. No fly zone in Noida from 2:15 to 2:45 p.m. Special arrangements are also being made at hospitals in Noida to deal with emergencies.
There are going to be 3 challenges as far as the demolition of the Supertech Twin Tower is concerned. The first challenge is going to be the demolition itself, because the neighboring societies are just 9 meters away, and when the demolition happens, no rubble should fall there and damage those buildings. The second will be the demolition is called a waterfall demolition, which means that all the floors will come down crashing as the demolition takes place, and the task will be to ensure that the rubble does not spread to the areas that also surround the Supertech Twin Towers, and the third is going to be the dust. Now this is going to be a big challenge, and while Noida authorities and Edifice Engineering, they are saying that there cannot be a concrete solution for it, but some sort of labor as well as sprinkling of water will be done to ensure that people who come to live after the demolition do not face the consequences of the blast because of the dust in the nearby areas. With camera person Mohammad Mursaleen and colleagues Arvind Uttam and Saurav Shukla, Akshay Dungde for NDTV.
And here's the latest on the flood-like situation in various parts of the country. There's a flood-like situation because of heavy rain in Crore in Rajasthan. You're also seeing water levels rising in the Ganga because of heavy rain in Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh. People are also facing flood issues in Kendrapada in Orissa, while the Saryu River has been flooded, with the soil erosion causing another problem in Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh.
In Madhya Pradesh, the second day of aerial surveys for Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan.
लगभग 25 गांव विशेषकर विदिशा जिले में ज़्यादा हैं, लेकिन गुना में भी राजगढ़ में भी कुल मिला के 25 गांव पानी में घिरे हुए हैं. रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन लगातार जारी है. हम वोट के माध्यम से भी निकाल रहे हैं लोगों को, और एयरफोर्स के हेलीकॉप्टर भी दो हेलीकॉप्टर रेस्क्यू के ऑपरेशन में लगे हैं.
In Odisha, floodwaters are receding, but in several areas, people are still struggling. More than 1 lakh people have been affected by floods in Kendrapara district. The state government is providing free food and people are being given cooked meals twice a day. In Crore, Rajasthan, a flood-like situation due to heavy rain as water levels in the Chambal river have increased after water was released from a dam. Teams from the army, state and national disaster response forces continued rescue operations today. Heavy rainfall in the last 2 or 3 days have created a flood-like situation in Kota, Jhalawar, Baran, Dholpur and Karoli districts of Rajasthan. An NDTV Bureau report.
BJP leader and actor Sonali Phogat's family has raised questions about her death in Goa and are now demanding a CBI probe. Sonali Phogat died of a suspected heart attack on Monday night. The police have registered a case of unnatural death and said that those close to her or working for her may be questioned as witnesses. Goa's chief minister has, however, said a preliminary assessment points to a cardiac arrest. Sonali Phogat's sisters, however, say that they don't accept she died of a heart attack and also said that she had, as they put it, insinuated something on the phone. A former Twitter security chief has alleged that the government of India forced the social media giant to put a government agent on their payrolls. This is according to a whistleblower disclosure with US regulators. The US media reports that Peter Zatko, the whistleblower, who was a former Twitter security chief, raised the issue about the government with the Indian government with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, amongst other security lapse claims at Twitter.